Okay, in this video, we're going to find the probability that a randomly selected value from a normally distributed population is less than a certain value, less than 9.8 inches. And I have here a picture of the standard normal distribution with z-scores along the horizontal axis. And z-scores are a way of standardizing, which is why this is called the standard normal distribution. Z-scores are a way of standardizing values of different units so that we can understand them relatively. So for instance, here, the context is manufacturer items, the lengths of manufactured items, and the lengths are in the unit of inches. Now, there's not a lot more detail given here. I don't know what manufacturer this is or what kind of items they are. So I don't have any prior knowledge about these types of items to help me understand how likely it would be that I would get a randomly selected item that was less than 9.8 inches. I have nothing to base that on. And so standardized values help us understand where they sit relative to the mean. And that can often help us just even estimate a probability of something happening without us having to know anything about the actual context of the original population. Now, for this exercise, you don't have to start off with a standard normal distribution. There is a way to get this answer without doing some of the steps I'm going to show here. But as I show these steps, hopefully it'll make more sense what we're doing and why we're doing it. And I think that'll help it be more memorable and meaningful. So what I've started off with is I've taken the given mean. So it says that these items have a mean of 14.1 inches. So I put that in alignment with a z-score of 0. And now the standard deviation that's given is 2.5 inches. A z-score of 1 would mean we have a value that's 1 standard deviation greater than the mean. So if I add 2.5 to the mean of 14.1, I'll have the length of item that corresponds to 1 standard deviation above the mean. So adding 2.5 inches, I would have 16.6 inches, aligning with a z-score of 1. And if I were to subtract 1 standard deviation of 2.6 inches, then I would have the length that corresponds to 1 standard deviation below the mean, or in other words, corresponding to a z-score of -1. So I'm just going to take the 14.1 and subtract 2.5. That's 11.6. Okay, so 11.6 is going to go right here, corresponding to a z-score of -1. And notice that we're using a reference of 9.8 inches. So I'm just trying to get a sense of how far to the left I need to go to indicate the boundary that's going to divide up the bell curve for me here to answer the question. Now, I need to go a little lower. So let's subtract another standard deviation from 11.6. So I'm going to subtract 2.5 again and get 9.1. So 9.1. Hello, I need my pen, please. Yeah, okay. 9.1. Okay, so that corresponds to a standard deviation of -2. Now, just to kind of connect it back to some of the other things you would have learned in this section or prior, right before this type of question, we learned about the empirical rule, which tells us that if we know a population is approximately bell curved, then we can expect within one standard deviation of the mean, we can expect 68% of the values to fall in that span, okay, in that range. And we also learned from the empirical rule that within 2 standard deviations, I'm having some trouble with my pen again here, sorry about this. Within 2 standard deviations, we would expect about 95% to fall. So in other words, sorry, I'm also drawing with a mouse here, but 95% of the values to fall within the range of 9.1 inches to whatever this would be. Adding 2.5 again would make it, what, 19.1, I think? And then within 3 standard deviations, we would expect 99.7% or almost 100%, almost 100%. Just to give us some relation back to what we've done before and also kind of give us a sense of what kind of answer we might be expecting here, because now that I've put in the 2 standard deviations below the mean and found it to be 9.1, and the value that we're asked to look at is 9.8 inches, which is just a little bit greater than that. So I'm going to say that the boundary we're interested in, 9.8 inches, is just a little bit less than 2 standard deviations below the mean. And so it's within that vast 95% majority that we would expect. Now, the total, this percentage also corresponds to the probability or the area under the curve of 0.95. And since probabilities range between 0 and 1, and if you add up all the probabilities without overlap, you get exactly 1, meaning you've covered all the things that could possibly happen. So something in that realm is guaranteed to happen. So the total area under the curve, because remember, area and probability are something associated for us with continuous distributions. We should always know that the total area under the curve is 1. So because I know that the total area under the curve is 1, and that within 2 standard deviations there's 95%, and this is close to 2 standard deviations below the mean, I can guess that the area over here, which represents the answer to our question, well, actually to the left of this, okay, I can guess that that's less than, it's definitely going to be less than 5%. It's going to be a little bit more than 2.5%. Or in other words, an area of 0.05 would be the total area in both of these tails, the right tail and the left tail. If I did 1 minus 0.95, I would get 0.05 as a decimal. And half of that, since they're symmetric and equivalent areas, this left tail would be 0.025 or 2.5%. And then we have a little extra right in here because 9.8 is a little less than 2 standard deviations below the mean. So I'm expecting my answer to be a little bit more than 0.025. So maybe 0.03 or 0.04, something like that. And it's helpful sometimes to have in mind what a reasonable answer might be. Okay, so with all that noted, we're going to go ahead and find the answer to this using technology. Now, using technology, the probability that a randomly selected length would fall less than or equal to 9.8 inches, I can find that using NORM.DIST and put in the x value of 9.8 with a mean of 14.1 and a standard deviation of 2.5. And I'm always going to say cumulative when it comes to the normal distribution. And you can either type in the word true, but in some apps that doesn't work. Putting in the number 1 is another way of indicating that you want it to be cumulative, or that instead of saying true, you can just put a 1. So I'm going to do that. And notice that my answer is 0.043 approximately. It says to do it, doesn't give me any round off indication or recommendations here, so I'm just going to paste the answer in so you can see. But the answer 0.04, like I said, I expected it to be around 0.03, 0.04, something like that, right? So that falls right into my expectation, which is helpful. With all these problems, you can get turned around kind of easily if you aren't thinking about things like that. You could also calculate the z-score, even though it's not required here. If I calculate the z-score using the formulas from the packet, let's pause for a second. I have a packet. All right, so this is what I wanted to show you. If you're in one of my classes, you might have been given something like this, or you might find these formulas in your textbook if you're in a different class. But you should have something like these formulas somewhere and these diagrams of the empirical rule. So this is what I was just referring to with the expectation of a bell curve and the percentages within a certain number of standard deviations of the mean. And this is how you can turn any x value, so in this case we had inches, to a z-score, which will tell you a number of standard deviation position from the mean. So just to kind of drive the connections home here, I'm going to do that, even though, again, it's not asked. We're not being asked to do this part, but if I show you that if I take my x value of 9.8 and subtract the mean of 14.1 and take that quantity and divide it by the standard deviation, what I'm doing is I'm saying how far away is this value from the mean and how many standard deviations would fit into that. So I'm going to divide it by the 2.5, which was our standard deviation. And notice that I get a z-score of negative 1.72, which aligns with the position where you see the 9.8. It is aligning right where you would expect to see between a z-score of negative 2 and negative 1. A z-score of negative 1.72 makes perfect sense. So just connecting the dots for you a little bit more. And also, I want to show you that if you did it with the table in the very bottom or very back of my packet, again, you should find a z-score table somewhere in your textbook, whatever introductory stats class you're taking. And this one with a z-score of negative 1.72, I would align with negative 1.7 in the left-hand column. So I know I'm in this row. And then my last digit would be 2, so since it was negative 1.72. And then you can see what the probability is estimated to be right there to 4 decimal places, so 0.0427. So it's great. I always recommend to answer these questions with more than one approach and do your sketch, and you're much more likely to consistently get these questions answered correctly, as opposed to just memorizing something that you type into your calculator or into Excel. It makes a big difference, especially as we continue towards the end of the course. We have other topics that are kind of built on this. So I hope this was helpful to you, and I'll see you in the next video.